This video is brought to you by Paperlike. It is no secret that iPadOS 18 is not what we had hoped it would be, especially in light of all this crazy new iPad Pro hardware that we got this year, but I'm gonna bite my tongue and stop griping about that for a minute and just focus on the update as it is, even though it isn't fundamentally different, even though we're still stuck in iPadOS 13, 14, and 16 land. They still managed to bring some great new features in here, besides Apple Intelligence, which clearly is or was the meat and potatoes of this update, and that's not even done cooking because I can't even demo those features right now because they're coming in the fall and next year. So again, in this video, I want to talk about my favorite features with iPadOS 18, even though there are really only a few to pick from. All right, so the first feature that I want to demo is an Apple Pencil related one, and it's called Smart Script. You may have heard of it. They also call it, or it's referred to as auto-refine handwriting in the Notes app, where it is currently an exclusive feature. I really do hope that Apple sort of shares this API or brings it to other apps as well, but for now it's in here, and it's sort of self-explanatory. It auto-refines your handwriting. So in the past, with it off or with it not here at all, your handwriting would be the way it is. You'd have to be really mindful if you want, neater handwriting, or if you're okay with messy handwriting. Pardon my kitten screaming in the background. You might hear that more than once. There she is. So yeah, in the past, your handwriting would look the way it is. And maybe you could convert it into text, but that kind of takes the personality away from it. With auto-refine handwriting, and I hope it works here because this is beta software, even though it's a public beta and pretty stable, when you write, it will be mindful of sort of how your handwriting looks and auto-refine it, as the name suggests here. So there we go. It made it look really nice. It definitely didn't look that neat when it was first written here, so clearly there is an improvement here. I can write my cursive letters here, and as you can see, if I write them legibly enough, they will auto-refine as well. Although there is a limit, you can't write like really terrible doctor's handwriting like that. Like, that's a squiggly line. We gotta do something about that. So let me go back here and then write an M again, and then an, oh, I'm writing my name. All right, sometimes they don't refine. Oh wait, there we go. Yeah, so those look good. Let me finish up here. P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. So look at that, the Z was hardly legible. It changed it. Like, that's really nice, and I think I was putting less effort in than I was up here because some of these were really bad. So, I can go back and actually change, like the S looks kind of bad here, so I can change that. Anyway, it does make a difference here in full sentences. I can write like I wrote here, she sells seashells by the seashore. Let's see what it does. Definitely better here, more legible L's. Yeah, so already looks better. It might not be perfect all the time. You definitely have to be mindful. You can't just go like, and then expect it to sort of figure out what you did and make it an actual letter. I also just realized you can correct words to what it thinks it is. This is cells, but it thinks it's seams. So if it was seams, you could do that. That's kind of nice. And that looks like I wrote it, which is really crazy. You can also move individual words around as well. So it kind of figures out, what you got going on here. So I can move that. I think you can sort of rearrange words as well. Let me see if I can do that. I'm learning. I'll definitely have a better understanding of all of this in the fall when this is an official feature. But most importantly here, auto-refine works really well. And again, gives your notes personality rather than just converting them into text or leaving your handwriting kind of crappy if you're not putting enough elbow grease into it. The fact that you can just sort of put in 65% effort and get really nice looking handwriting that looks like yours is really cool and a great usage of machine learning. But beyond just handwriting here, next up we have a dedicated calculator app that is more than meets the eye, because if it was just this, like, all of us would be like, well, why didn't we do this like years earlier? Why wasn't this a thing in 2010 when the first iPad came out? Clearly this is, a simple UI. It's giant, it's kind of clunky, although of course you have the option to change it into a scientific calculator, which makes more sense. I would say the best usage of just the calculator app so far is in split screen, where you are in a scenario where you just want to do some simple calculations and you don't like have a cart to put stuff in. Like, let's just say, like, I thought of a really specific example. I used to, and probably hope to continue to, collect coins coins and, you know, currency and whatever, specifically US stuff, and maybe you had a wish list and you wanted to add up, you know, how much stuff costs. I'm just making up numbers here. I don't have the budget for this, but you know, the fact that you can just sort of have a web page open, crunch some numbers, you know, in a sort of smaller tab here is wonderful. So that is the benefit of having a calculator built right into your iPad. That would have been nice in high school and college, because there were definitely instances where I would have loved to have had that, but you know, I kind of had to have my own standalone calculator or use my phone or my laptop or whatever. I digress. But again, there's more than meets the eye here besides it being a simple calculator and a scientific one. Math Notes is a new feature, and just like with SmartScript, Apple is making use of machine learning and AI to, you know, sort of recognize your handwriting and spit it back out at you, and also provide a really cool math experience where you can literally write some pretty advanced equations and expressions and, you know, variables and stuff and work with them. I'm not going to do that because I am not a mathematician. I didn't do well in any math classes, algebra and up, you know, high school to the end of my college days. But this is definitely a nice thing if you want to sort of add up budgets or, you know, just sort of simple math here. You can just write, you know, sort of a simple addition problem, and it'll sum it up here in what looks to be kind of sort of your handwriting, which is nice. You can also just do like 2 + 2 is equal to 4. You can also do some graphing too. I really don't have a reason to, and I'm not really good at it, but it'll literally pull up a little option here to insert a graph. Really cool. That honestly would have helped me in high school, because I'm telling you right now, I understand basic algebra now, but when I first started it, it was blowing my ADHD brain. So this would have helped to have some, you know, more of a visual guide or sort of a representation as to how that works, because I know you can sort of mess with variables and stuff and see how they change, sort of the way the graph looks. I'm not going to demo that right now, but again, this is nice for me if I want to do a simple, you know, sort of handwritten addition problem, subtraction problem, division problem, whatever here. It's also built into notes here, so I can scroll down past the SmartScript demo that I did. So you can do 10 + 10 equals, and you will have a solve option right there. So it might not do it immediately as we see here, like we see in the calculator app, but at the very least, the same features are here as well. So this is probably where I'll be using Math Notes the most, literally in the Notes app, if I want to do a quick subtraction, addition, division problem here, but it's nice to know it's here as well. And speaking of Apple Pencil related features, I quickly want to bring up today's video sponsor, Paperlike, and I'm actually going to move my 13-inch out of the way here in exchange for my personal 11-inch model that I've downsized to, as you saw in my last video, because this is just sort of the perfect size for sort of netbook, Apple Pencil related activities. This screen protector, it makes a world of a difference when it comes to handwriting and drawing and sketching and whatever, because unlike a glossy display, you get a paper-like, as the name suggests, surface to run the pencil across. So it's not just sort of like a glossy, you know, sort of slippery slide type ordeal here. You actually feel like you are writing on paper, and they've made this technology really, really great. Unlike nano texture, which you can get on the new iPad Pros, which just sort of disperses glare or light better, nano dot technology in this, a completely separate technology, again gives you this texture that again emulates paper while also preserving screen quality. So you're still getting the wonderful brightness and contrast and all of this, while also getting this really great texture that you really can't get anywhere else with any other screen protector, or, you know, of course, the nano texture glass that you can equip here. I really enjoy this. I, you know, have always been someone who likes to take notes traditionally in a notebook, on a piece of paper, loose leaf, whatever here. The fact that you get that experience while, you know, sort of benefiting from the digital consolidation that you get with the Notes app and other third-party apps is wonderful. I've used this accessory for years, and I really do recommend it. They also sell this wonderful folio-style case with this quality polyurethane fabric material. It sort of resembles a notebook cover and also has a little protective flap for your Apple Pencil to keep things all neat and tidy. They also sell other nifty accessories like a pencil grip. As the name suggests, it adds a little extra grip to your pencil here, while also not sacrificing that pressure sensor, which allows you to get this new menu continue with the Apple Pencil Pro. And last up, I have on hand a really neat integrated like microfiber cloth slash little spray bottle for a solution for cleaning your screen. If it'll focus here, there we go. It's really ingenious. You just spray the solution on and then you can just immediately start cleaning your screen without having to use a separate, microfiber cloth or whatever. So yeah, really wonderful brand. It makes a difference to have a screen protector like this because otherwise you're just sort of gliding across glass, which isn't exactly a realistic feel. And if you're doing a lot of handwriting, sketching, drawing, whatever, it does make a world of a difference if you like that more traditional feel. So I'll leave a link to all of these wonderful accessories, especially the Paperlike screen protector, in the video description. If you're interested, it is a must-have accessory if you own any kind of iPad, 10th or 11th gen through the new Pros, in my opinion. But anyway, getting back to the feature list that we have here. Next up, I want to talk about the customization that comes with iPadOS 18, totally ripped from iOS 18, but it's still very welcome here for two reasons. Number one, now you can actually change the way your icons look, so I can change them to sort of a dark tinted look that I've really been enjoying. Like, yeah, this looks sick. It's very minimal. It almost feels like a jailbreak. It feels like illegal, but I really enjoyed this. I think this is the best look you can go for, sort of minimal. And you can also sort of color match it to your wallpaper here with a literal eyedropper, which is pretty cool. So I can sample a color from this building. It's picking up right here. I can also make it lighter, so I'm gonna do that. You could also make your wallpaper dark as well, which is interesting, but I prefer to have it light. But beyond the icon customization here, you can also place your widgets wherever you want. It's still a little weird, like it kind of wants to order it in the old-fashioned way, I guess. Maybe that's just a beta thing. But I managed to get my widgets over to the right so I can not obstruct this picture of a New York skyscraper that I took. And I'm totally gonna plug, a shameless plug here, my SKYLINE 2 wallpaper pack here. This is the specific wallpaper, if I can find it. Here we go. So, this is the desktop one. We can go to the tablet version here, which will look more familiar. I have a lot of these available for iPad, Mac, and for iPhone as well. But yeah, now I can actually, have my wallpapers without obstructing elements that I really like here. Maybe I can toggle another one and sort of arrange the widgets to kind of show you how this is done. Okay, here we go. So what if I want to sort of bring widgets over here in a sort of incongruent way? Because, in the past you had to have your widgets sort of ordered, all lined up, sort of left to right. But now I can do something like this, which is great for customization. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but it's definitely welcome. Especially because widgets are sort of the iPadOS experience as of right now, at least in the touch form. Hopefully in the future we get more of a desktop or something more Mac-like, but for now, again, it's nice to have more control over the customization when it comes to the UI, specifically widgets and icons. Another UI change that I want to bring up is with Control Center. And it took a minute to grow on me. I definitely loved sort of the layout and the congruency in the design with the Control Center we've had for a while, but I really like how we have compartmentalized or different sort of pages to customize as well here, but I'm not going to do too much of that. You have your typical controls here. You also have a music specific pane or page. You have a connectivity specific page, and you also have your home specific page. And this is important to me because I have a lot of HomeKit lights, so the fact that I can just toggle them here on a separate page is really wonderful here. And if I had more on, I'm sure I would see more here as well. You also have a power button, which is nice, and you can also, of course, customize and sort of make the buttons bigger or smaller. I don't know why you would do that, but you certainly can. So it's nice to see that Apple's giving us more control and also just I don't know, more compartmentalization in terms of toggling stuff, especially with connectivity. That's really nice here, and home. So again, really nice to see some UI elements changing, even though again, we're not getting any UI changes that we'd like to see to sort of make this more of a Mac-like experience. But anyway, not to get too off track there. Next up, I want to demo voice memos and the new live transcription feature. I think this is an iOS 18 feature too, probably a macOS one as well, but it's great, especially on an iPad. I think that this is a great device to record voice memos with high quality mics, and maybe you're using it, in my case, maybe I want to thought vomit something and copy that text into a document, or you want to interview somebody. You can immediately see your transcription live as you're talking, and it's pretty accurate. Like, I've been saying some wild stuff to this app here, maybe stuff I don't want to repeat, just to kind of like really see how you can push it. But as you can see here, it is adding punctuation, it's adding, it's really accurately picking up me talking, and I can talk quite a bit, and quite often I'm just saying stuff, and yeah, so I'm just yapping here, yap, 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 yap. So it's saying yap, but still. Yeah, it does a really great job. So I will figure out a usage case for this for sure. Not just on here, but also my phone and my Mac as well. But yeah, great feature here to use, again, if you're sort of thought vomiting and you want to copy some text, or you want to interview someone and literally have a live transcript to reference later. Next up, I want to talk about Safari. And the new reader and the highlights that you can get off of websites here. So here is a summary that I got of a workout that I used to do. Oh yeah, it was already showing it, ladies and gentlemen. So this is what the actual website looks like without that. And as you can see, it's nice to have a more simplified web page, because you don't get ads, you don't get other UI elements that might be distracting here. So not only do I get a summary, which is good for me because I don't like to read unless I really have to. If I have to read, I get this wonderful clean reader, whereas on the regular website, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's certainly sort of a little all over the place. Like, and you get like pictures and stuff. Like, I don't want to see that, I just want to see the text. So I really enjoy that. You also do get more information here. Like, so as you can see, we're getting a map here, and in some cases you might get a ways to contact. But anyway, Safari is a lot smarter, and for me, if I want to read an article and I don't really feel like really going into it, and if I have to, if I want it to be better looking, more concise, whatever, with a summary, I mean, that's pretty great. And I think that the iPad is a wonderful web surfing tool, especially the 11-inch model, which is nice and compact and sort of like the size of an e-reader. So yeah, great stuff with Safari here. Next up, I want to talk about the Passwords app, and hopefully I can get Face ID to recognize me. Oh, I gotta enter my passcode here. Quite fitting. So I'm gonna have to heavily censor this, but it's nice to have a literal default app that keeps track of all my iCloud, keychain, password stuff with different categories. So all, codes, security, deleted, Wi-Fi, passkeys. This is so great. Again, without having to go into your iCloud keychain, which I don't remember being a particularly easy interface to kind of go through. So I mean, there's not much to say other than I'm glad that Apple has a first-party app that keeps track of all of your saved passwords in categories, and you can address certain problems like security issues, like compromised password. I have a couple of those. Like reused passwords, whatever. You can all see it in one place. And, not to be cliche or to glaze too much, but I do trust Apple, when it comes to security. So again, great app to have here. And then last up here, unfortunately, I can't demo any of this, but we have Apple Intelligence features that are coming in the fall and next year. I think this year we're going to be getting some of the writing and communication oriented ones that will sort of make use of language models to rewrite text, and I'm not condoning using this to sort of write essays or anything for you, but I do a lot of tedious writing, emails, stuff for videos or whatever. And although I do value my own thoughts and words and whatever, sometimes I just want to thought vomit and then have it sort of cleaned up, just like SmartScript. So it's nice to kind of have that built in and also available third party. So unlike SmartScript, like it's just sort of cross, the operating system, which is nice. That's going to be the case for, I think, iOS and also macOS here. There's also the image playground, which is interesting, kind of controversial, not exactly my favorite thing in every regard, but the fact that you can sort of personalize notes with little images of whatever is nice. Also, you can sort of go through variations. And then contextual Siri is really exciting. I can't demo that here, but you're going to be able to use it to sort of do tasks without having to go into the operating system and do individual things. So we're going to have to see that when it happens or when it comes out, because I haven't even seen a demo of that yet. So exciting stuff here. Let me look at my notes here if there's anything else. No, that's about it. Hopefully you have enjoyed this chaotic showcase. The public beta is pretty stable, so I do recommend trying it out if you're interested. Again, is this what we wanted? Not entirely. I mean, I'm used to it at this point. Apple coming out with crazy hardware and not sort of matching it with software that it deserves, at least when it comes to the iPad. So this is nothing new to me. I've been doing this for years. I have experienced this for years, even though I predicted that we get a better update. I mean, I'm not surprised. They have their priorities, and unfortunately, at least so far, I don't think the iPad is on the top of their list, but hopefully next year we get a more substantial update. But for now, again, Smart Script and Math Notes are pretty impressive, and I think they're going to make a big difference for users, especially students who will take advantage of them. And that is about it here. Again, check out my link to my SKYLINE wallpaper packs and also Paperlike. You really definitely will love the screen protector here. It makes a huge difference when it comes to handwriting, sketching, and drawing. And as always, I'm Noah, and I will catch you all in the next one.